Well, welcome back, my friends, all to another rousing rendition of Choir Boys Outdoors. Now listen, today we are doing the Little Evil, designed by Zeke Manacho, made by Work Tough Gear rendition. There's so much I want to talk about this knife. It is a longer video. We're going to try to cover everything I want to cover. Here's the deal. September the 13th, Friday the 13th, at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, the Little Evil, and I believe it's a 5.5-inch blade, we'll talk about that in a minute, will be dropping on Work Tough Gear's website. 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, Work Tough Gear's website. Now, I'm not sure if afterwards some will be going to DLT Trading or Knife Center, but if they are, I'll let you know. Also, DLT Trading and Knife Center, for those of you looking for some Work Tough Gear, is a good place to check out. And instead of telling me how Work Tough Gear is always sold out, actually look them up here and there. You know what I'm saying? Praise God. Here's the deal. I got the Little Evil, and I love Zeke. Everybody knows that, right? This is the Little Evil Fighter. Now, there have been several guys, including Chavez, the dude who designed the Rendition, who has signed off on this knife. Several martial artists have signed off. Blade guys have signed off on this knife. I know jack shit about knife fighting. You can look at me and tell that. I got stabbed a couple times. One time, jabbed, cut. So you can tell my knife fighting skills are not there. But what I can tell you is a good knife, decent knife, very well made knife, or a shitty knife. This is a badass knife, man. I'm gonna tell you the truth. There's two versions. There's the 7-inch version, and then there's this version. Now, I love Zeke and I love Work Tough Gear. I really do. Okay, let me take that. Let me walk everything back. This is a 6-inch blade with a 5 and 9/16 cutting edge. I'm pulling those measurements myself. This is something I thought, you know what? I don't know shit about knife fighting. Don't need to know. Don't plan on getting any. But what I do know is the knife needs to be able to stand up if you need to stab somebody, if they got some armor on, body armor on. I don't know. I mean, good God, just go with me. So here's what I decided to do. I took this piece of dunnage and damn near drilled a hole all the way through it. What I was looking for here was a couple of things. One, to see if we had any tip damage. Now, I did the modified J.C. Owens tip test with the just stabbing the shit out of the board tip test. No tip damage whatsoever. But the other thing is this. There was no slip. That G10, this handle wraps around your hand. If you're Steins, it'll wrap around your head. Here's the deal. The overall length of this blade, the Little Evil Fighter, is 11 1/8 inches. That is the overall length. We have a 6-inch blade, I'm going to say 5 3/4 cutting edge. It is a tracker style. The blade stock is right at 3/16. Right at 3/16 is the blade stock G10 handle scales. Here's the thing, man. The thickness of the handle at its widest point is 7/16, but it contours to the hand. This is probably one of the most perfect handles for my hand I have ever had. What I did throughout this video is a shit ton of stabbing. Because here's the thing, in my mind, if this is a fighter, you're going to be slashing, you're going to be stabbing. You're going to be doing things that you wouldn't normally bushcraft do. You know what I'm saying? This ain't a bushcraft knife. Can you use it for that? Yes. Look at the lines on that. Just take a minute. Absolutely gorgeous. And before you say, Scab, you like them all. I do love all knives. But here's the deal. The big Little Evil, the 7.5 or 8-inch blade. When you get blades like this, I said at one point, I wanted to be challenged. Guys, you can say what you want. You can think what you want about knife reviewers and all that. There are certain blades that are super easy to review, and then there are blades that are challenging. This style is challenging. A fighting knife is challenging. We're limited a lot on what we can do. You can't stab anybody. We're not a big budget channel. We're a good looking channel. We're scab leaning out there. So I thought, what can I do? Well, I'm going to stab a lot. I want to test the handle. When I say test the handle, I'm talking more about slip. Do I get a good grip? Does my hand lock in there. I want to test the tip. Is there any give? Is there any play? I always want to look at the sharpness. If you got a sharp knife, I don't give a damn about the blade design. If you have a sharp knife, you are in the fight. Physically, theoretically, emotionally, any way you want to look at it. And I'm not even talking about a real fight. I'm talking about any situation. A sharp knife is safer, unless you're Steins. A sharp knife is easier to work with, less force, less effort, less of a lot of things, right? So if the knife sharpened, this knife came super, super sharp. If the knife sharp, if the tip holds up, if it'll stay in my hand, no slip, because you got to also understand, if you're stabbing a lot, now I did a lot of stuff today, it rained all day long. I live in the swamp-ass capital of the world. Look how wet, when I'm talking about sharp, people say, well, it's struggling. Let me tell you something. That is that is ratchet strap that I pulled out of a mud puddle and rinsed off. That shit is inundated with mud, inundated with water. If you think that's tough or easy to cut, let me know. I'll send you some of it. I doubt you'd ever be honest with it, but that's neither here nor there. Neither here nor there. But that's some tough shit. So the knife needs to hold up. The knife needs to be comfortable in hand. I like this knife 20,000 times more than I like the bigger version. The bigger version I like. You know what I'm saying? There's no knife that I don't like. This is a knife, and I'll be honest with you. When I first got this knife, I saw it, and I thought, all right, I'll come up with something. It'll be all right. I'll start working on my video in my head. I left it in the box. I played with other knives. When I figured out we got to get going. And I'm just being real with you right here. When we got to get going, I said, okay, I'm going to go. And if you've been around the channel long enough, one, thank you. Two, you kind of know the MO, right? Work Tuff Gear. If you see it, if I got it, it's coming in the next month or so. You're going to see shorts. You're going to see pictures. You're going to see reels. You're going to see it on social media from me. We're going to cut some paper. Once I do the review, we're going to stab some tires. We're going to do some chopping. We're going to do some stuff. So I said, okay, guys, from the time I wrapped my hand around this handle, it was a totally different experience, even from other Work Tuff Gear knives. It weighs 13.9 ounces. The balance point is right at the choil on the handle. It is right below, the balance point sits right below the first screw at the top of the handle. There's no jimping. There doesn't need to be. You can strike a ferrocenium rod with this. This is Buller K329 steel. They do a great run with this steel. It does have a pommel that has the very, very aggressive jimping there. I don't even know if that will quantify as jimping as much as a wig splitter. It has a hidden lanyard hole. Listen, this knife was designed for fighting. It was designed for hurting someone. It was designed for combat, right? How do you know? Because everything on it screams that. The other side is this with a knife. And again, I don't know anything about knife fighting. Don't pretend to. Don't need to. I really don't. I just know, and I know this too. Let me. This is a big point a lot of people leave out. I do know this. If I tuck this in my belt tonight and I go on a walk and a dude jumps out that knows how to knife fight, this knife ain't gonna do me shit. It's skill set. Now, I'll feel confident. That way, when they find me dead in the morning, stabbed to death, they'll say, well, he must have felt confident. He had that knife spun around backwards and got stabbed 97 times. It's skill set. Bushcrafting skill set. Using a knife is skill set. The only way you learn to do that is to use it. The more you use a knife, the better you get with it. I admit my knife acumen when it comes to terms and knowing the ins and outs and, being buddies and on steel forums, no. But there are very few that can hang with me with actually cutting. You're going to get mad? I don't care. I do it every day for at least an hour every day. I find stuff to cut. Why? I am more interested in the function of the knife. Conversely, if I take this knife walking, an Armageddon happens. Now, I know that's not going to happen. We're all intelligent beings. Well, some of us are. But if I had to survive, this knife would do fine. Is it made for bushcraft? No. Will it bushcraft? Yes. And it will hold up. It's a well thought out, well balanced blade. This segment, what I did was took a bunch of goofy stuff and just cut it in a bunch of different ways. I say this a lot because I mean it a lot. I am very redundant with what I say. My videos are redundant. So if you're not interested in the knife, it's highly unlikely that you would watch the video. Some will, but most don't. I don't get mad at that. I understand it. But I'm also redundant in the different demonstrations we do. Why? So you can compare and you can make your own choice. Whether you buy the knife or not is immaterial to me. It really is. And I don't say that being a dick. I'm being as honest with you as I can. I don't care if you buy it, if you don't, it doesn't matter. My job is to show it work to the best of my ability. I'm going to screw up at times. I'm going to be lacking in certain skill sets at times. We're working hard to remedy that. But my goal is to show you, my goal is not to show you its breaking point. That is absolutely useless to me. Useless. And I've just quit responding to stupidity. You know, there's a certain brand I'll show, oh, it'll break. I wouldn't depend my life on it. Well, you wouldn't depend your life on it because you don't have a skill set. You don't want to say that. But anybody that would rely on, I can't put my life on it. Listen to what I'm telling you. I'm going to bank my life on a skill set. That's why I work on it every day. It helps to have a phenomenally well-built, well-balanced, sharp knife, and that's what this is. It's a well thought out. Now, for you guys who do knife fight, which I know 90% of you do, you're known for it, I know, then this would be a valued asset in that because it fits in the hand. The one test that I really do that I don't even really show on camera, but one thing that I really do, and you can see the penetrating power there, is I take the knife, I take it in my hand, and I'm doing it right now. I face the blade forward right towards my knuckles, and then I begin to rotate that blade. I'll go all the way around a couple of times, usually get lost in the moment. I can't do that right now because I'm talking to y'all. Then I'll spin the knife upside down like I just did, and I'll do the same thing. I look for hot spots. I see where it contours to my hand. I see angles that I don't need to use, etc. I can tell you with my hands, and that's all we can talk about. I can only tell you my experience on this knife. I can only talk about this knife that's in my hand. That's all any knife reviewer can do, and anybody that ventures out of that, while I love them and I respect them for getting on here, I tune out. I don't do broad sweeping statements. I don't listen. I want to give you my experience, and then my thought and my prayer for you is this: make your own experience, make your own judgment. And let me know. Had a guy this week, hey Scab, I bought this knife, I didn't like it. It's one I had just showed. Sent it to my grandson. I didn't get mad. Okay, I'm glad he tried it out. Give me that feedback. Hey Scab, I bought this knife, man. I liked it. I saw you work with it. I got it. It just wasn't for me. Let me know. Let me know. But either way, I don't take the shit personally, no matter what I get on here and say. I don't. The other thing is this, and I'm as honest with you as I can be right now. Stein's about hurt himself, and I'm glad you're okay, Jay. I really am, man. Because we do some dumb shit in these videos, and there are times in these videos we could get hurt. But let me explain something, y'all. And let me be real with you. I am 100% responsible for everything I do in this video. If I hurt myself, that's on me. I don't need another father. I don't need another parent. I'm 52. I got kids. I got grandkids. I made the mistake a long time ago of continually saying I'm a novice at best. That's not true. I'm not saying I'm an expert. But I am very, very, very aware when I'm using a knife. Now, have I cut myself? Absolutely. Sometimes shit just happens. Sometimes I'm tired and I'm fatigued. But there's never been a time where it was anyone else's fault other than mine. I admit that. I accept that. And Stein's had a guy, going to unsubscribe because he's not safe. If that's the way you feel, don't watch my shit and don't tell me what to do. I'm a grown-ass man. Okay? That's all I'm going to say about it. I love y'all. God bless y'all. I appreciate y'all. But there comes a point in a time where we just stop the shit, right? It's my time, my money, my effort. Same as Jay, same as all of us. I love y'all. Back to the knife. I absolutely adore it. Am I going to carry it? Oh my God. Seriously, 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 this is one of my all-time favorites already. It's a vibe knife in every sense of the word. That being said, guys, we got to do this part. There was a time in this country where 22 vets a day took their own lives. Now, stats are everywhere. We talk about that a lot. What does that mean? That means we're headed towards the weekend where the number's actually going to be up near 29 to 35, somewhere in there. That's why on this channel, we focus on the number 0. Anything over 0 is simply unacceptable. Vets, we love you. Man, you have a place here. Guys, I back the blue. I know it's not popular. I know that that's the taboo thing to do, and that's all right. I've never been part of the cool club. I have my reasons, and they're not what you think they are. But that's what I believe in. You don't have to. Finally, if you're an addict, and I am, never quit quitting. Well, I'm Scab. You're not. I'm gone, son. Love y'all.